We're going to talk about Mobius. And I think a really unique idea about making fitness a little bit different through other businesses, having fitness be a part of non fitness businesses to help create that. So let's talk about it, Caroline and Julia. Whoever wants to go first, let's just give us the summary and then we'll just dive deeper into it.
Yeah, I'll go first. So we started with the vision and mission to make fitness just more inclusive. We've noticed there's a trend in the fitness world or just like in our society right now where fitness takes over people's lives for a lot of times the better, but other times like not so much. But there are some people that don't have that accessibility. So for example, I used to work in construction and I got to the job site before the sun came up. So that whole like idea of getting outside, waking up to the sun, getting your fitness routine in the morning, like that isn't accessible for everyone, especially if you add like children to the mix, if you add like other aspects. Some people work two jobs, all of that stuff. So we wanted to take fitness and bring it into spaces that it's not already in. So a good example of that would be, let's say you have a monthly book club and you meet with your friends, you have the charcuterie board, you have the wine and all that stuff. And it's so nice to have that community. Why don't we add a walk to it or like a run club? So you have a little run and walk before, and then you go meet up at this bar and talk about your book club. And that's just an easy way to add fitness into your already routine or already community. Because fitness can be isolating if you have to try and shut down half of your life just to get in a workout.
Most
Exactly.
definitely.
And we're also seeing that there's these local businesses that are just they're trying to get more exposure to their community. They're new to the area or they're just trying to build that sense of community and they don't really know how to promote themselves. So we're hitting two birds with one stone in that case. We're able to promote this local business, bring more people to that business and help them grow, but also bringing fitness into it as well. So it's supporting that community, supporting that fitness mission, while also just supporting the local community.
Yeah. And community is like inherent in fitness as you get going and as you find your community. And that's just what we're tapping into.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. It's interesting. I think with the online environment, a lot of the videos and things that people put out, it's not very realistic. A lot of times, you talk about getting up at 5 a.m. I was never getting up at 5 a.m. Only time I got is because I had a 1 year old, and you get up because I don't want to be up at this time, but I have to. I have responsibility.
Yeah.
But also, that's often being able to get up that early and do self care is actually very difficult for the majority of the population,
Yeah.
but it's also put out as, "Hey, you need to do this. This is so important." But it's like a lot of fitness in my space. It's very accessible to 20% of the population. Everybody else is always left out because they just can't function in that sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just that alone, like you think about like differently abled people or just people that have like different lifestyles and like culturally and just like normally, when we talk about like nutrition, it's usually a very like westernized diet when people, these influencers are talking about what I ate in a day. You can find like very niche people that I found like a Vietnamese vegan, the Korean vegan. I love her like page and all of that stuff. But a lot of the diets that we're pushing out in this like influencer world is like very much like overnight oats, do this. And it's very rigid where like food can be culture, food can be family, like food brings people together and you should have access to a healthy lifestyle or enjoy that side of your life without having to like completely earn with while still being healthy.
Yeah, we really feel like fitness should fit into your life and it should meet you where you're at. And that extends to like nutrition and like general wellness practices. It shouldn't be like this one size fits all. Like you have to have a six pack, you have to go to HIIT classes, and you have to eat like chicken and rice. Some people enjoy that. That's awesome. If you do you, if you love that, go for it. But that's not for everybody. It's certainly not for myself. And it should really be more flexible and be able to like move with you wherever you're at.
Yeah, I think, and this is why I like this idea is because probably for the last 30, 40 years, we've really only catered to very small percentage of people in
Mm.
fitness. We've catered to people who are already into it already and who want to do what you just described, Julia. The problem with that is it literally leaves out most of the market, literally, which is actually a bad business plan. If we
Yeah.
think about it.
Yeah, they're missing a whole portion.
Yeah, it's just like you said, fitness is tapping into the 20% of the population that wants to be fit or that is already fit. But there's like a whole group of people that want to do fitness related activities that just don't have access to certain. And also, just demographics. Like Pilates classes are expensive. So if you want to do like the morning Pilates routine or like the yoga, starting a company, like we're on quite a budget. I can't go to all of those events. I would love to, but I just don't have access to it. So making things a little more accessible, like trying to do free events when we can, getting the fitness professionals that are running those events more money. Because when you do it out of like bigger companies or like bigger studios, they take a huge cut of the class. So we're trying to, again, give more money to the local fitness professionals that are running it and also make it accessible to the community that's coming to it.
Most
Yep.
definitely. I want to know, let's back up a little bit. How did you two meet? Like,
Oh,
how did this come together?
very interesting.
Yes.
Awesome.
Sorry.
So I came up. So long story short, I graduated from Lafayette College. I was a Division I field hockey player, so fitness was like always in my life. My mom is an incredible yoga teacher who has like her own business in the yoga community, and so I had graduated in 2020. And I was supposed to travel Europe during that time before I started working full time. But with 2020, everything shut down. And my mom's like, why don't you get your 200-hour certification for yoga? And I was like, whatever. So I did that. And it was very like heavily rooted in anatomy. And that made a lot of sense to my engineering brain, civil environmental engineer. And so I immediately tapped into it. And I was very injury prone before learning about anatomy. And I was like, oh my God, I can help so many people because now I understand like the proper biomechanics. So then I doubled down on that and I got my NOSM certification. And I was doing this all while I was working full time as in construction. And then I got my 300-hour certification. So for a total of 500 hours for yoga. And I was like really wanting to do this full time. And so I was trying to grow my brand, like my personal brand on Instagram, on TikTok. And I just really hated what was going on Instagram and TikTok. There were people that were just becoming famous, like fitness influencers without any background or certifications, let alone CPR training. And people were just like following that because they're really like generally attractive. And algorithms themselves are like transphobic, they're homophobic, they're misogynistic, they're racist, just in general. And so there's a certain demographic of people that are being lifted up in the fitness community as like fitness influencers. So it was really frustrating to me. So I was like, how do I fix this? And so I ended up quitting my job in construction and trying and going back to school for software engineering because I wanted to build our original app idea, which was Fit for All. And I just wanted to make a marketplace with verified fitness professionals and then help them like manage and grow their business on the side. So then once I graduated from that, worked a little bit in software and then doubled down and went full time into FitBro. And I was working a fitness event and I met Julia and I was gabbing to her about my fitness like background and everything. We realized we were both personal trainers and software engineers, which is a niche that I've never met anyone else in. We immediately clicked and I gave her kind of the pitch of Fit for All. And Julia, you can take it from there.
Yeah, like leading up to that point. So I've been a software engineer for 6.5 or so years. Played sports growing up, was like generally into fitness, but it was never a major part of my life. And then during COVID, I just started getting very into it. We were all like isolated. I was at home and I was like, okay, I'm going to start getting more into working out and like putting more effort into what I eat and like preparing myself good meals. Cause prior to that, I had like never really gotten to pack a good lunch for work and have something healthy. I never really got that down. So I was like, all right, this is a good opportunity to do this. I spent a lot of time learning about different exercise routines, fitness in general, nutrition, and got like very into it myself, just learning about it and wanting to share more information about it. But at the same time, I'm seeing all these influencers that Caroline was just talking about on Instagram. And I'm like, I know what they're doing is it does not actually apply to everybody. Like this is pure genetics at play here. And I just got frustrated by the misinformation and just the way that they were dominating the space. And it was like not necessarily accessible to everybody. So I decided to get my personal trainer certification just so I could share more like of that true information. And after getting that, I just started exposing myself to more like fitness opportunities, just wanting to get more into that community. And again, like the idea of community building, like that was a huge thing that I wanted to get into. So yeah, I ended up working this fitness event, started talking to Caroline, and we just like instantly hit it off. So like really out of nowhere, but like really good alignment.
Yeah. And then within a day, I've shared everything that I did, like building to like all that I built like a very rudimentary like web app, I had a whole Figma where all my designs ready, and I just shared them all with Julia. Thank God she didn't take it and run. And within a week, we were like, all right, let's start this business. Like created the LLC. We reached out to like friends and family about like potential to like investments. And then we pretty much started coding and creating this in December. And we launched our beta in February. And we did that for a month. And then we were accepted to an accelerator in New York City. And it really grew from there. We fully launched in April. We have 64 people that have signed up for it. So within a month, we have, 64 people. And then we have 33 people officially like on our public directory. So we don't put anyone on our public directory that haven't submitted their certifications to us. And so that was like, that's going, honestly, still going well. But that root vision and mission was like to make fitness more accessible. And we kept asking ourselves, we're like, is payment processing really making fitness more accessible? And which is honestly, it's very helpful for trainers, but it's not hitting our mission and vision. So that is still like a totally great business plan that we're going with and all that stuff. But we do want to branch out into like actually going for what our mission and vision is. And that's where these events are coming.
Mhm. And even as we started talking to more trainers, once we started incorporating that into the potential business plan, we'd mention like host events and grow your community. And like they were interested in the business tools, but we said community and events, and they were like, oh, yeah, like how do I get involved in that? We were like, this is definitely something worth exploring. There's a clear interest in this, and it can really help them.
Yeah. And as like being in the startup space, there are so many startups that are awesome and have great messages and just need help marketing. And then great opportunity for marketing is like host a fitness event. Get people involved, get people seeing your brand.
Yeah, what's interesting too is one, very unique engineers and trainers. I've never heard of that combination before. So cool. But a lot of our space is dominated by non-fitness people who start up businesses for
Yes.
that. So I love that the startup is by people who have different skill set, but are also actually practitioners.
Yeah.
And we actually need more practitioners to start their own businesses versus from non-fitness based folks who just see it as a way to get in and get out
Yes.
and sell something there. I wanted to get into the mechanics a little bit. So let's run through a scenario, start to finish, how one of these like events would run, or how someone who's interested in listening would say, hey, I want to do that. How would I get started with this?
Yeah, you would reach out to us. So if you are, let's say you're a personal trainer or a yoga teacher or Pilates or even like a mindset coach. So we're in like the whole wellness and fitness space. You'd reach out to us and say, I'm local, wherever you're local to. Right now, we're focusing on New York City because that's where we have our connections to. But if you're local to us, you would reach out to us. You can DM us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, email us and say, hey, I'd love to get involved. And you would just basically tell us what your passions are and what your certifications are. And we will make an event that aligns with that. And Julia, if you have anything else.
Yeah, this is also, I know this is a fitness specific or like fitness focused podcast, but this is also accessible for small businesses, local businesses, like brick and mortars. If they're looking to grow their brand, we have that kind of directory of the fitness professionals, and we can put together an event for you that incorporates fitness with someone that has that expertise and specialty, but also still highlighting your brand.
That makes a lot of sense. So I love the idea. It's really cool. And my focus is always just to highlight people in our business who are doing really good quality things. And again, who are practitioners within it. And because I just think that's such an important thing. We're not getting enough people starting up who are actually in the business. You wouldn't believe how many large corporations are just, they're not fitness people. They're not actually in the business.
Yeah, like a huge portion, I would say. So the fitness industry in itself is like $100 billion industry. So business people see that and they're like, oh my
Of
gosh,
course.
if we take 1% of that, boom, amazing. And so I think for us, our like biggest focus is on those local fitness professionals that are doing it every day, that are grinding every day. Because we have a couple fitness professionals that are working like 3 jobs just to make it, and they have like other passions. And so again, that's what we're trying to bridge. We're trying to get them more exposure, get them more money, and also allow them to be creative with their fitness. So one of them specifically, we just reached out to a personal trainer in Manhattan who had this donation link, a GoFundMe for an AIDS foundation. And she is on works with Broadway. And so it was like a Broadway fundraiser for this AIDS foundation. And I reached out to her and I was like, do you want to do a fitness event and all the proceeds can go to this donation? And she was like, absolutely. Like, this is what we do. Like, we make these connections that inherently wouldn't seem like fitness, but we can bring more awareness to whatever you're doing and make money with it.
That's really cool. So, is there an option, event maybe in the future to branch outside of New York and do something? Do because obviously, if people are listening to this, they're all over the country and the world, and maybe thinking, "How do I do this? I'm not in New York, but I want to take advantage of something like this." Yeah.
Reach out to us and we'll open a branch in your
Yeah.
local area.
And
Um,
we'll share the like website with you later. And there's a button on there. You can click apply now. You fill out a little form just with your info and like what kind of business you're doing. And yeah, we would love to. We have fitness professionals in, I don't know, 6 other states already that we know of. So we could definitely start making those connections and growing those kind of branches.
yeah. And if they're a fitness professional themselves and they just want to lead events and help, they again can apply. It's free to apply and be on our directory. That's like another aspect of it. Like, you make money when we have the events and all of that stuff. So if you just want to get your name in our system and then we can reach out to you as like opportunities come, that's another opportunity.
So, tell me about like the nuts and bolts of planning the event. So, I see that someone can reach out and they're on the site. Let's say
Mhm.
they have this idea. How do you turn their idea into a reality and creating the event?
Yeah, so I would say first things first is finding a venue. So thankfully, there are a lot of spaces that are actually available for rent for fitness type events. That is a growing demand. And so that has thankfully been met. So we'd find you a venue and then we would post on our social media about it. We would help you promote it. Hopefully, they would cross promote it. But we'd probably, if it's just the fitness professional, then what we do is look for a local partnership that we can make there and they could like co-partner with it. So it's, for example, like a butcher shop. It would be like, let's do strength event. And after, like, you get a coupon to the local butcher store. So then you're getting like two communities that can come together and get a workout in and have a benefit from it.
Gotcha. So, part of your thing is basically helping them with the outreach or set up the event with other partners
Yeah. Well,
potentially.
yeah.
Yeah.
Set up an event, reach out for partnerships, and then promote it.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. I like this just at a heart of helping other professionals,
Yeah.
which feels like, can you talk a little bit about that a little bit more? Because I think that's often when I talk to people about different businesses and stuff, it's really mainly a self serving thing, to be honest. It really is. It's really not about helping other people in our industry. This feels very different in that sense.
Yeah, I would say with that, so I've worked at studios, I've worked at gyms, and they're awesome to meet clients because people are already coming there. But again, you're getting like such a cut of what work you're actually putting into it. So let's say the client pays $200 for a personal training session. I sell $80. I was like,
Yeah.
I know that's a $200 value. They're paying for that, and I'm only seeing X amount. And so I think that was a root problem they were looking to solve. And then there's also workshops that studios will put on, stuff like that. And those people that run those workshops, and I've run those workshops before, I don't get paid for that. So I'm doing this work for unfortunately, no money. And like, I would love to offer my services all the time for free, but I do have rent to pay, and these people have rent to pay. So again, that was like the root issue where these people, just to grow their brand, were doing this for free. And we're trying to give them access to paid events because, again, we've been in this situation. And I think that comes back down to that same where we started is like, we're people that were in this situation that are trying to grow a business to fix that problem.
Hmm. And then even on the consumer side, like on the community side, the people going to these events, a lot of these events are going to be paid just so we can operate them and organize them. But that we can do things like run clubs that are free. Like we're still making it accessible to everybody. You don't have to have a ton of money to get involved in these. So it just serves so many different types of people and like groups of people. And that's really just like at the heart of what we wanted to do. Like this whole time, we're like, we really just want to help people on all sides. So of course we have to make a business out of it. That's how we can keep operating. But at the root of it is really just like helping people. And I think that kind of gets into like why we became personal trainers. We wanted to help people live healthier lives, and we wanted to help them feel like they could live a fuller life. And that's just, I think, as yourself as a personal trainer probably feels that as well. That's really why we do this. We want to help other people. So we're
Yeah.
trying to expand that.
And I think also this might sound bad, but we're not business people at heart. We're business people at heart. So I'm sure some like business executives hears this and they're like, "Gee, like, oh, the money, the thing." So we're like, yeah, of course. Again, I have to pay rent, but again, our business speaks for itself, and it's again, here to help those fitness professionals. And yeah,
Anybody that hears this and says that, they're not actually in the business. They're not like, and I think that's been a big part of my mission. Why I have my podcast too is I just like to highlight other people in our profession and to help them. I told Julia this. We were in a kind of discovery call. Yeah, I want to help you. Of course, I want to get the word out about what you're doing because in the end, it's really hard to be in this business. It's difficult to create something long term. We need to help each other. And for some reason, we've created this weird competitive thing that there's this scarcity mentality in fitness. It's like a weird, it's like we hurt ourselves by thinking there's just not enough people to work with or not enough opportunities or this is this and that. But you know what? We're always better when we work together. And my career is proof of it. I've gotten to where I've gotten by collaborating with people over and over again throughout 25 years. And we need to help each other because so many people get in the business and we have a huge attrition rate in our business. It's 80% in the first year. It's insane. We have some of the highest satisfaction scores for our being in our industry and
yeah,
also the highest attrition rate. It's like we love what we do, but we can't stay in it. We have to change that. So
yeah.
I feel like this could be another option just to help people in our business and other businesses be more come connected, be connected, have this synergy together.
Yeah. So this made me think of another funny experience that I had that brought me to Fit for All that's like low key embarrassing, but I'm going to
This is a
sure
good one.
a lot of fitness professionals out there that can relate to this struggle.
Yeah.
So a couple months or I guess a year before I quit my job in construction, when I was first starting out as a personal trainer and wanting to do this full time, I started getting these ads like make the ad said, "Do you want to make $10,000 in your first month as a personal trainer?" And I was like, "Hell yeah." And they're like, "On this discovery call." And I was like, "Absolutely." And I was like 22. So I'm much better with my money now. But I was like, again, I was vulnerable. I was like, I need to make this into a full-time job if I want and I make money from it. So it's like, so they totally reeled me into that. And I ended up paying $20,000 for this business man, like personal training experience. And they like promised that you would make like $10,000 in your first month. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're promising this, they're guaranteeing it, like absolutely. And the way that they did it was like basically the same way that they got me into it. They find your vulnerability, which is I need to make more money. And then they basically make you think you need them. And so that's like how they had us like messaging people on Instagram. You're sending like 500 messages per day and it's automated. You basically find people's insecurities and vulnerabilities and then tell them like, hey, I can help you lose weight. You need me. You're going to pay me $2,000 for this in the first month. And so they have these clients pay all the money up front. And so, yeah, you make $10,000 in your first month, but what are you making that third month? Because no one, I shouldn't say no one, not many people want to continue with that type of like sales and business. I didn't. I was like, oh, this makes me so uncomfortable. And I just left. I was like, I don't care. I know I'm not getting my money back, but this is not how I want to run my fitness business. And they didn't make sure you were actually certified for this. They're like, oh, that doesn't matter. And that, yeah, no, it was like so crazy. And I was like, these are business people that are targeting these fitness individuals who need money and need help growing their brand. And they are making $20,000. Ah, bad. So, anyways, that was another thing where I was like, I need to help these fitness professionals
Yeah.
grow their brand without paying $20,000 to do it.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's happening all the time, by the way,
Mm.
all the time. It's like you're trying to help fitness professionals in an honest way. But on the other side, other people are like, oh, this is a great scam opportunity. And
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to come in here. This business is these people, they see these numbers that I'm pumping out. They're like, oh, they won't be in it anyways. I'll just keep pimping all these other people with it. It's a really
Mhm.
sad situation. And we're a very easy target for a lot of people for that because we're just not a very regulated industry. And it's people are want to be in this industry, to do anything to be in it. So you have to
especially
be
as like a
very careful.
freelancer.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're freelancing, you're just trying hard to hustle to be in it. So it's easier to
constantly.
fall to that.
So there are some people that have been successful at like these tactics and that are making millions of dollars. So it's like that idea that I'm one day away of becoming a millionaire. And it's like totally like it's not good. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. But it's just very similar to MLM scams and stuff. There are people who make millions of dollars, but it's like a tiny percentage. And then the downfall of people are all broke. They're making nothing. They're just
Mhm.
hurting. We're just an easy business industry to do that to. And that's all I always say. We have to take ourselves much more seriously and we have to actually help each other. And we have to unite against people who are trying to do this harm to us.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that story. That's not an easy short story to share.
No, just laugh through it because like
Yeah.
'cause we do part of like when we were first starting Fit for All was like cold calling, and so I was like calling people and talking about it, and you just start a conversation because again, it's very similar to this. Everyone's like in the same boat, and so when I started talking to them about like my experiences and stuff, when I would bring up that, they're like, "Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about."
Yeah.
I paid $10,000 for mine. I was like, "Oh, damn."
Oh man.
The silver lining that we like to focus on is that it brought us to where we are today and helped us meet each other and start what we're doing. So if there's any way to spin it positively.
Yeah. I'm glad I was one that it happened to, and now I'm shifting the focus to make it better for our industry. But yeah, and now I get ads all the time for stuff like that because
It's a
I
good
have
thing too.
have personal trainer in my bio. It's always the same. It's like, do you want to make $10,000 a month? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do this?
Yeah.
And then some of them are like, I know you've seen this before, but this one actually works. I'm like, nice.
Good tactic.
Yeah. Oh man. That's why I think I just love helping my colleagues. And when Julia reached out about this on my LinkedIn, it's where I spend all of my online time professionally stuff for networking. I was like, oh, I want to do this. I want to help out.
Yeah.
And also I know that it's hard when you're just reaching out to people
Yeah.
and everybody's feeling like,
Real.
what is
That's
this?
genuine.
Like,
Yeah.
you want me to review this site? You want me to look like
Yeah.
it felt very natural. Uh,
Yeah. We
you
try
know,
to
I
be
was like,
like more genuine in the way that we
yeah,
talk to people. We're like, we're not gonna try to like just sell you something. We actually want to help. So let's just
yeah,
chat as
Yeah.
opposed to like the traditional cold call sales tactics. It's, oh,
yeah.
do you want to save $1,000 a month? That is just
It's-
not really the approach
Yeah.
that we want to take with this.
uh,
Let's just have conversations with people and see what we can learn. Like worst case, we meet a
yeah,
cool person and we
that's
can
Yeah.
have,
exactly right. That's
yeah.
always my approach. And I was like, because the thing is, once you talk to someone, they reveal themselves to you.
Yes.
And then you're like, "Oh, I know who you are," type of
Mhm.
Yeah.
thing. But if it's not that, then it's like they're always trying to keep you at arm's distance. Always makes me think of these shows where people like these dating shows and people are like, "Oh, they can't talk to them on FaceTime. Their phone doesn't work." Of course it doesn't work. It's not even a real person probably.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
real
100%.
people will talk to you. They'll actually talk to you and spend time with you. And I appreciated that and the outreach, just colleagues talking to each other. That's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, so when we first started like the cold calling, cold DMing, I had like never really done that other than that one automation from a couple of years ago when that whole like scam. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to be cold DMing people. And
I don't want to
and
be
so
that
one of
guy.
our mentors was like, oh, like here was like, oh, this is like what you can do. And I was like, do you want to save $700 a month? And like all that sense. So I was like, all right, let me just see if this works. I got ripped apart by this one person. And I was like, I literally was like, yeah, you're right. This was such a creepy way to do this.
Oh,
And I was like, I'm never doing this again, which
Yeah.
a good lesson to learn. And I didn't feel good about it either. I was like, I don't want to send this. I don't want to
yeah.
send it. Pressure. And like, again, in the business world, in the startup world, it was like, no, send this. This is how people respond. And I was like, no, I can't. And so I was like, Julia, we can't do this.
No, we felt so uncomfortable with it.
Yeah.
But even though we send like much fewer messages per day because we're like typing these individualized messages out to each person. Yeah, we are hitting less people per day, but we also are like making more genuine connections. And I know our mentors want us to hit 500 messages per day, but we're hitting like maybe 40. But again, we're making actual connections.
Yeah.
and
Yep.
people genuinely know that we like care about what we're doing and that we are passionate about it.
I think like the in the moment sale is way less important for us than like that relationship and that connection. And who knows how we could maybe like work together in the future. And we just like supporting these people. So it's really like very much so not just about the business and like the
Yeah.
sale and the money, which I think
Yeah.
is, yeah.
There was one person that we like had reached out to and we're like, hey, this is what we're doing. And they're like, awesome. Like maybe one day I'll think about it. And then that's the person that we're made the connection with for that AIDS Foundation event. So it was like, yeah, we are not about, we just want to grow like our network and be like able to support you and reach out to you and be like, hey, I think you'd be perfect for this opportunity.
Yeah, that's amazing. Man, I'm so glad we all met. This is
I
great.
know, me too.
Seriously, this is like the best stuff for me. And I look forward to getting this out and promoting it to all of my colleagues. And that's the beauty is you meet one person, you're meeting their entire network. If they
Yeah.
really are passionate about it, they become a champion for your thing. And that's what I use my podcast for is to champion other people
Yeah.
and get them out there and say, hey, now you're going to meet people you would have never known. If
Yeah.
it wasn't for all of our connections, vice versa. I'm going to meet people I never knew
Yeah.
from your side of things. As we end off here, tell us a little bit about where people can check out all of the information. We'll have it in the show notes too, but it's also good to have it towards the end here as you're talking about it too.
Yeah. So again, I'll let Julia talk about the website, but we also have like our Instagram. Right now it's called Get Fit for All. That's our handle. And so they can look us up on there. They can see all our goofy videos that we're making. It's all just Julia and I with our phone, not like fancy. We're not paying for anyone to do anything. So they're goofy, they're real, they're quirky. And it just, you can follow us there, stay up to date. When you feel comfortable, you can email us and or reach out and apply on our website. And truly, if you are just interested in getting involved and you don't know where to start, that's where to start. Like, you
Yeah.
do not have to have a whole vision or a whole mission. You can be like, I really like anime and I'm also like a yoga teacher. We'll figure something.
Yep.
There is a passion and there is a niche there. We can help.
Yeah. And then for the website, it's mobiusfit.app. And as Caroline mentioned, on there's a button. You can click apply now. It'll take you just to a Google form and you can just tell us whatever you want to, and we'll put something together. And then there's also on there a list of all of our upcoming events. So if you are interested in checking any of those out, there's a mix of some workouts. There's an event in New York for Pride on June 21st. We have a holistic wellness panel. We have a bunch of things coming up and like way more that we're going to be adding. Yeah, we'll send you the website, but there's a ton of information on there.
Fantastic. Man, seriously, this is exactly why I do what I do to meet people like both of you. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. This is wonderful.
It's great to be connected.